And these are the bolts from underneath that you have to undo. I'm going to try and grind some of these off or cut them off. There's 4 this side and 4 the other side, plus you have to take off these 2 bolts here which hold the tub, and that, as far as I'm aware of, is all that holds the tub. What you've also got to do, of course, is remove this bracket here, because that's holding the tub on, and also you have to split the tub here from the sill if you have a sill. So you've got to just split that one. You haven't got to take the sill off, but you just got to split this bolt here, so this will come apart. So then all this tub then is free. Okay, so those are the most awkward bolts there, but they're 4 that side, 4 the other side, and plus the spare anchorage bolts for the seat belts, which are there on the long wheelbase. Not too sure about the short wheelbase. Okay, and these mounting brackets. Cheers. Right, morning all. Rear tub removal. Evidently, I'm just dealing with the tub. One thing you have to do is disconnect the lights. Now I've took my lights out because they were old and tatty and I'm replacing them, but you don't have to. You have to disconnect the wiring up through, because it goes underneath to the tub to the other side. You have to be careful, sometimes it may be caught in some of the other chassis pieces, so you just may have to undo the one side where the wires come through, and then the wires will come through for this side. Of course, the next thing you've got to undo is 10 bolts. Now with these 10 bolts, you will find that there's captivated nut plate at the back here. If you're lucky, they'll unscrew and you can reuse them. If not, you'll end up having to either replace them by knocking the little pins out, grinding the nuts off and welding some nuts back on, or if you can get them, get them. So those are the captivated ones on the long wheelbase, because you've got the petrol tank at the back. On the short wheelbase, I'm not sure whether you've got the captivated nut plates, because you can get at the back a little bit tight, because the chassis does go under and you can't get in quite well. But it's on the long wheelbase with the petrol tank that have captivated nuts. The other 2 are just nuts and bolts. So those have to be undone. That's the back done. Okay, cheers. Now move to the front. I'm just doing the top at the moment. I'll do underneath in a second. What you have to do then is across here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is part of the tub to the seat box here with the split. You have to do these, this one here, this one here. I've taken these off here because they're rotten and they're broken. You have to undo the seat belt to get this one here, because it's so tight, and it's okay. But if you want to, you can take these off. These are tending to snap, so I don't mind, then just replace the bolts. And then if you want to take the seat box off, I'll show you that in another video. But that's these 1, 2 here on the side. So that is all your bolts on the top for the tub. Okay. If you have seat belt anchorages, like on a cab, that's slightly different. But I'm just dealing with just removing a tub. Okay. So there you go. So I'll carry on now for the moment, and I'll show you underneath in a second. Cheers. I've had to drill these 2 out here. Couldn't get nothing at the back. It was a pain. Well, it's just because I've got not very good working hands. But drilling, that's what took a little bit of time. You can see I've lifted this now up on there, break the seal across the back here. It's a bit more over that side. If you do remove the seat belt anchor, which is this, you'll find it will release off here easier, but that side I've just got to go down here and just move that up. Don't forget I'm on my own, so I've just huffed that up there, moved that. As you can see, everything's clear there. Put a spacer wood under the back here, protect the doodah. Now all I've got to do is just come round here and just gently move this up here, and hopefully it should go. And also should clear this here, because I haven't took the seal off. So it's a question of pulling up and just back fractionally. Okay folks, that should do you. A couple of seconds and I'll be back. Right, correction. You have to move the seal out because there's a little lip here and it catches when you try and lift this up. So you either have to take the sill off, which I will be doing. I've just slackened those off. So my correction there, hopefully you'll watch all the video through, and then this will come out then, so you can take this one off or you take this one off. So it's not just a question of splitting them, you have to move one of them. I think people tend to cut this, but never mind. Okay, cheers. Right, off in a second, cheers. Right, that exposes the back end, which will allow me to do this and get this all cleaned off. It is quite rusty, but that's not the issue. Anyway, that's the tub off, and that's what you're left with. It is difficult, I can say the least, and if you've got no space, then I've stuck it on top of my roof, upside down, but it's a bit of a pain. But I've got Darren to help me again. But cheers folks, that's it, done. Right, I've had a sweep up, a little lot to sweep up. I've dropped a couple of extra holes in the top bracing ready for welding for tomorrow. Oh, if I can get round to it tomorrow. I've got to go and pick some tiles up. So I've got to do that, both sides, welding, do this top section. I've got to tack all the welds up, do those, sort that. I've got to weld that there. But I've had a sweep up, and a good wire brush on the old doodah. I'm looking around for a new petrol pump. I'm going to change that one. You never know, do you? Okay, I've still got a little tidying up to do here and cleaning off, and then I've got to wipe it all down, get all the mud, bits of mud off, and hopefully then give it a quick undercoat and paint when it comes. Still got a little bit more to do, and then hopefully I can then start doing the axles and and the springs and bits and pieces, put it back. But it's getting there slowly. Cheers folks.